think you should pay everybody. Is it a reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's for. You just got it.
Mr. Lacey is absolutely not guilty of all 9 counts. I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you have to admit your guilt first.
Let's explore the drama that has been developing in Dolton, Illinois. We assure you that it is quite explosive. The name Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Henyard, has practically become associated with controversy. She has been in the news for all the wrong reasons, and the tension between her and Dolton's residents has reached a breaking point. Dramatic as it gets, imagine that this is already an elected politician, under fire for numerous accusations of poor management, public outbursts, and extravagant spending habits. She is facing criticism from the same people who elected her to office. If you think that's heated, wait to hear how she has been responding to the mounting calls for her resignation.
Sometimes we get invoices, but those invoices lead to more questions, and sometimes we don't get answers to those questions. And so it's not about clickbait, it's about just making sure the right thing.
So let's go back to a recent town meeting that may go down in history as one of the most chaotic demonstrations of local government dysfunction. Residents flocked to the meeting, and tensions were high at Tiffany Henyard, who was grinning broadly, brushing off criticism, and even making fun of her constituents on live television. Yes, you read correctly. Instead of quietly fading into the background, this mayor is publicly humiliating those who are calling for her to step down. It sounds like something from a reality show, and at this point, it seems like Henyard is playing the villain. Let's establish the scenario. The purpose of the town meeting was to discuss the mounting concerns about the leadership of Henyard, or lack thereof, depending on who you ask, from financial mismanagement to an apparently never-ending stream of scandals. The people of Dolton had had enough, and they wanted to know who could be held accountable. You can understand why people are upset when we discuss a mayor who allegedly spent tens of thousands of public funds on fancy dinners, personal trips, and extravagant parties that nobody even attended. One event reportedly cost over $85,000 just to bring in some guest performers.
Who would make a one-day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon? And the main thing is, what is it?
When the meeting got off, it didn't take long for things to get out of hand. Residents started jeering and cheering at Henyard, expressing their smoldering frustration. You could feel the tension through the screen when Henyard took the platform, but instead of being humble or attending to the issue, Henyard quite literally did what she does best. That is, she deflected teasing and pretended to be untouchable while wearing a sly smile. She made it evident that she wasn't going away and rejected the crowd's objections in rage.
You're the people's mayor and people's...
One of the residents was heard saying on camera, "You won't understand until they put you in handcuffs." And given the current state of affairs, it doesn't seem unlikely that they will do so in the future. That's the mindset that's driving Dolton's residents crazy. Toa didn't do Henyard flinch. Instead, she merely waved them off like they were a bunch of misbehaving kids having a fit. The final say must always go to Tiffany Henyard. And it's usually something so infuriatingly toned that it's almost hard to believe that this is the same person who was elected as Dolton's first female mayor just a few years ago. At the time, it seemed like Henyard was a breath of fresh air. She portrayed herself as a strong, bold leader who would shake things up for the better. But now it seems like she's only shaking everything up for her own benefit.
Judge today declining to hold her in contempt, but did warn her that if she did not follow the ruling, he would.
This is when things really become interesting. The reason for the public confrontations is messier. The FBI is apparently investigating Henyard's handling of village finances, which is a nice way of stating that there are some pretty serious accusations of corruption being bandied about. And these allegations are causing Henyard a lot of legal heat. These accusations against Henyard are not limited to whispers. They have come from a variety of sources, including former trustees, workers, and even the residents themselves. They accuse her of embezzling public funds into her own pockets and elevating unfit friends to positions of authority in exchange for their allegiance.
finalized the finding of an investigation of village finances and the spending habits of beleaguered Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
One especially shocking accusation concerns Henyard's use of public funds for personal expenses. There have been reports of her using taxpayer dollars to pay for opulent travel, expensive meals at upscale establishments, and even the purchase of pricey personal items from Amazon. In one case, it was discovered that she spent over $40,000 on Amazon in a single day, and the worst part is that no one really knows what was bought or why it was necessary for village business talk about shady. Finances for the village are finalized. Chaos, according to Lori Lightfoot, a former mayor of Chicago who Dolton's trustees hired as a special investigator, despite the fact that the village's general fund is negative by $3.65 million due to debt. Henyard persists in acting as if nothing is wrong. She was informed of the findings of the investigation into her spending and has boldly declared, "You know it's me of power, so how dare you think you can come into someone's town and do work?" So the audacity to.
The way that the government always does it is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're doing here.
It's not just the
Red flags are raised by more than just the expenditures. Henyard has been appointing her hand-picked cronies to important posts, such as village attorney and new police chief, without the village board's consent. But here's where Cook gets into all of this. After Henyard made these decisions without board's agreement, the county judge intervened and stopped the appointments, stating that she had overreached her authority. The judge even ordered a temporary restraining order that prevented her appointees from assuming office.
Well, the judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from trustees.
Despite the court decision, she apparently instructed her appointees to continue attending Village Hall. So, of course, in true Henyard fashion, she didn't take that ruling seriously either. When trustees questioned her about her defiance, Henyard just dismissed them, acting as though the law didn't apply to her, as if nothing had happened.
All right. I guess anything else? I get sued all the time. Y'all, stop it.
What is this? People are wondering how long she will be able to continue this reckless disregard for the law. Legal issues are mounting. There are rumors of criminal charges being brought against her, and the FBI is looking into it. It's only a matter of time before things get out of hand, and let's not forget that even Henyard Inner Circle is feeling the heat. The scandal doesn't mention Keith Freeman, one of her closest supporters, being accused of bankruptcy fraud charges. If found guilty, he could spend up to 5 years in prison. You can expect that investigators will try to flip him in order to obtain additional information about Henyard. A rumor has it that the inner circle of Henyard isn't as close-knit as she might think. Stop there. It appears that at least one of her close allies has already begun working with investigators, possibly disclosing more details about her administration's dubious activities. It's possible that even more unexpected names will come forward as it becomes more and more obvious that allegiance to Henyard may come at a high personal cost, with some allegedly prepared to risk everything in order to keep their jobs.
Very appreciative to receive the information today. We have the best mayor ever. I've been here since 1993.
Henyard could be in danger if rumors spread that other appointments are helping investigators. After all, it's one thing to stand your ground when you have a supportive team, but when those people start betraying you in order to protect their own interests, that's when things really start to fall apart. And let's be honest, it looks like Henyard. This is the reason why House of Cards might collapse sooner rather than later. In spite of the current situation, Henyard continues to portray herself as the mayor of the wild part. She has been hosting private meetings, going on public appearances, and acting as if she is the only one in charge. Despite the fact that both the public and the courts are firmly against her, it is difficult to determine whether she is genuinely convinced that she can weather the storm or if she is simply living in denial.
This administration is shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
Consequently, after being removed from office by the trustees, she attempted to call a gathering at Village Hall, only to have it called off by the courts once more. This was a daring move that demonstrated her will to stay in power at any cost. Nevertheless, it also indicates how alone she has grown. Her once loyal followers are disappearing, and the only individuals remaining in her corner appear to be those who stand to lose the most if she fails.
I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there will be anything, it just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
Additionally, don't forget to leave a comment because, believe us, fans have a lot to say about anything this one person wrote. Henyard's propensity for getting the final word, even when it's utterly unneeded, is part of what makes Tiffany so very annoying to her detractors. Tiffany constantly needs to have the last word, even though it's typically foolish. She has no shame, and it seems to sum up what a lot of people are feeling. Tiffany criticizes others, but she does not enjoy it, said a different observer. There's a lot of tension in the air, so it's difficult to predict how this saga will end. Will Henyard finally be forced out of office? Will the investigations result in criminal charges? Or will she somehow manage to hold onto power despite everything that has been thrown her way? One thing is for sure, this story is far from over. I'm not complaining, I'm just explaining. Mayor Henyard is quick to dish it out, but can't seem to take the heat when it's directed at her.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
The legal wheels are rolling, and it seems like a big thing is about to happen soon. The evidence against her is mounting, and every new piece of information that emerges seems to weaken Henyard's hold on her office. The court has ruled her actions legal, and the community has made it clear they want her gone. The only question now is how long she can continue to resist. That's where things stand for the time being, but in all honesty, do you really believe Henyard will leave on her own volition? Or is she going to keep going until the wheels come off? And what about her supporters? Why do you think they're still with her when it appears like everything is falling apart around them? Please share your thoughts in the space provided below. And don't forget to subscribe for additional updates on this developing drama.